the top 10 albums with Alice Cooper that he was on,
Yes.
starting from 10 to 1. I'm going to hand them to you and you can explain.
Okay. This is greatest hits.
Right.
Obviously, it contains some of the songs that made us popular.
The greatest hits.
Yes.
Great.
School's over. Am I still 18?
Right.
Elmer, Mr. Nice Guy. I had written that back after Killer, but it just didn't fit any of our, scary type motifs. It's too pop.
Yeah.
Bob decided $1 Billion Baby album was going that way, more of a pop.
Yeah.
And they knocked on my door, and I said, sure.
There you go. There you go.
That's cool. So what's the next one we got?
If you ever get a chance, listen to this. It won't make much sense, but you've got to admire the sheer velocity of these guys that went in and wrote songs anywhere from a minute and a half to maybe 2 minutes, all the way to 7 minutes. The story behind this is when we went to Frank Zappa's house, he said, I got a great idea for packaging for your album. We'll call the band Alice Cookies. In a tin,
oh, right on.
It'll have these hip pocket records that you put in this little player you can buy in the back of a comic book.
Yeah.
And
they're little tiny records, right?
Yeah. Well, they're about the size of a CD, I guess they were.
Yeah.
And then there'll be like 12 of them in there, and we're going, Frank, if that was such a good idea, why don't you do that for the mothers?
Yeah.
No way. Little known fact, Vice President, he was wanted to do the rating, album rating, Agnew, Spiro Agnew.
Oh, way back there.
In response, Warner Brothers was being responsible, so they put a sticker over this girl's animated crotch. Wow, that's so offensive.
Yeah, it is offensive. I didn't know it was a crotch until you pointed it out. Number 8.
This album was the next attempt to make a statement musically. But the neat thing about this album, you're driving down Sunset going south towards the ocean, and as you came around the corner before you got to the whiskey, there was a billboard Warner Brothers paid for, and this was it looked like the Brick Girls, and it was us. And it was a very cool.
It's cool to be on a billboard.
Yes, we had a billboard, They offered to cut our hair, but we reneged. It's not a bad album. It's David Briggs produced this, if you could call it that. His idea of producing was, well, if you weren't Neil Young, he'd come in and go, roll me one here. Okay, that's a take. Oh, David, we haven't started it. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, that's a take. He wanted to get out of there in the worst way.
That's right. And number 7.
Oh, God.
Number 7.
This was almost there. Almost out. Unfortunately, Shep said this is the one he could blame on him because there was a lawsuit between Frank Zappa's manager and Shep. Shep really should have won, but he went to the lawyers in New York and want the file. You guys have been handling this, right? So opens it up, and it's like 3 papers in a manila envelope.
Oh.
So Shep lost, but the album is really good. I thought it was produced by Jack Douglas and Jack Richardson, who did the Guess Who. But the box, unfortunately, usually you get 24 in a box, but this only fit 12, and then if you tried to put them on the racks, they didn't fit.
Right.
So record industry didn't like it.
Right.
This is the album
That's the album I remember.
This is the album that got our snake employed. Kachina was a gift that our drummer Neil, it was actually his snake. Yeah, some girl gave it to him down the floor. My parents won't let me keep this anymore.
Not helping me with my fear of snakes there.
I didn't say this, but on the new album, one of the songs we're working on has to do with, it's a very lethal snake. It kills you in like 7 seconds.
Oh.
There's a couple of them.
Wow.
But that's one of the songs. This was a lot of fun, this album.
Oh, somebody just threw panties on the stage.
Oh. No, that's not what these are. This is the food handlers. Taco Bell. It was a great album. It just really clicked. It was one of those things that fell together. Somebody else was asking me, like, well, did you set out to write an album about school? No, we didn't. But Neil had this song. It was called Alma Mater. A long time ago on the Love It to Death album, when I was working on the music that became 18, it used to be My Only High School Queen.
Right on.
It was about school.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I think most people have in common. It's no common denominator. So it made it very, very interesting, and it paved the way for
everything
AC/DC and
right.
all those other Schoolboys in
number 4
in disguise.
Right.
This album got nominated for album cover award.
Oh, right on.
This one in School's Out. We didn't win.
Right.
But we were nominated. Great record. I remember we were all sick as dogs when we were in the UK, so we went to the Canary Islands. Thank God we weren't on that 747 that hit it. It was like
that would have been a bad day.
Oh yeah, really. It was a major airline. The 747 ran into, I think, a DC-3 on the Canary Islands, so foggy. The guy's out there with a flashlight. Didn't you see my beam? It's a great album. When we went to the Canary Islands, they said we got a perfect place for you guys to rehearse. Yeah. It's a hotel. It's not finished yet.
Right. Oh.
So it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Pound that nail! They're building the place, and we're going. Okay.
That's a rude wake-up call.
All right, we had to fire a road manager.
Yeah. Number 3.
Battle Axe, another tragic
3.
story in rock and roll. Alice decided to go on the road by himself, and he didn't need the band, so we started working on this album. It's myself and Neil and Dennis from the original band, and Mike Marconi, and Bob Dolan played on the $1 Billion Baby tour with Mick Mashburn. We used to have, out from under the stage, rolled hydraulics to a song on an album called Nights in Cracked Leather. And it was like Cleopatra coming into Rome, you know. Yeah. It rolls out and then the sides come up and it's a sort of boxing ring, right?
Okay.
So they started on this song and then Michael and I get in the ring, the other guitar player.
Sure.
And we're
battling.
We're battling with guitars that have wireless transmitters. So you hear and behind us, scoreboard, and whoever got the best 2 out of 3 falls, I did one of these.
The crowd.
And it cost us over $100,000. We did 4 shows with it. And then we went home to take a nap and cry. Our precious producer, Lee DiCarlo, decided, you know what, I'm going to snort a ton of coke this morning and go in and mix this, master this album. I guess when you do a ton of coke, your high end goes away, or your low end, one of them. And so he kept more highs or lows. And so the U-shaped groove ends up like this, and it's when a live passage comes on a vinyl record, you just boom through the stylus right off the record. So we started getting records back. So we, in an emergency attempt to stick our finger in the dike and stop the flooding, we remixed the album with Jack Douglas and Jack Richardson, and Sid Bernstein went in and tried to negotiate another album with Polydor Records, but Polydor Records was phasing out their rock stars and they were going into disco queens.
Okay, so number 2 on your top 10.
Number 2, yes, Love It to Death. This is the 3rd album that we did. Love It to Death was amazing because a lot of it was just stuff we were doing on the road. Because we had Bob Ezra. Was from Toronto, a Canadian. Because there was a Canadian involved, they would play it on Canadian radio.
Oh, right on.
So CKLW started playing it. Shep immediately had a phone put in at the farm. And all of a sudden we were, hi, this is Lynn. I'm 18. Hi, I want to hear that Alice Cooper. $1,000 phone bill.
Oh, wow.
We had everybody, if you came over to our house, get on the phone.
Right on.
And it worked. It broke the record, and later on we were driving down the road somewhere, and we heard it, and we all got out of the car like, is this really happening? Pinch me.
Right on. That's awesome.
That is so cool.
Now, so the number 1 album of your favorites, it's got to be the one that is
coming up.
It's coming up, right?
The reunion.
Reunion album.
Well, I hope it is. Let's put it this way. When we get together to write, there's a lot of this going on.
Sure.
Instead of using musical terminology, some players will go, well, we need to do this, and then it needs to have this in it, and this. You know, like, I hired an interpreter, but it didn't do any good. We did our first rehearsal over at Solid Rock at Cooper's in Mesa, Alice's place in Mesa. And then he might come back, or Neil leaves in April, and we'll do some more writing.
Right on.
It's off to a good start. We, after not having really worked together, writing songs for a long time, we gelled, and
that's good.
We were rocking.
That's very good.